Hey, Mistral and I are back today, Monday at 1:30, to talk about the next energy type in human design. And today we're talking all about manifestors. This is the second smallest energy type, only 8% of the world being manifestors. And we need manifestors, especially now, almost more than ever, to initiate, to create brand new things that have never been done or created before.
We're saying manifestors being only 8% of our population is wild. And my daughter is a manifester. And of course, many friends too. And it's such a beautiful aura when you can understand how to really leverage and utilize it.
Yes. Yeah, it's so powerful. When a manifestor walks into a room, like you kind of know you're really hit with their energy, their aura. And it's so interesting that manifestors only 8%. The majority of the people that I'm around are actually manifestors, which I think is just so wild to just, find these people. But I do love someone who can initiate and give me an invitation.
True. So true. As the projector in their house.
All right, we'll talk about projectors next week, but
Yeah, the manifest energy is really big. Like it's kind of that energy where maybe you've been at a conference or a webinar or a place like that, and someone's entered the room, and you just kind of like look and you can just kind of feel their energy. Like they just feel like there's somebody important or they're something, right? There's just something that you feel about them with that sort of really fixed, like it's not penetrating, but it's big. It's just there. And
yeah. We call
go
it
ahead.
repelling in human design,
Yes.
which like I hate that term, but it also makes sense because you do like literally bounce off of it. And I know for me, it can be repelling. I can be like, ooh, I don't like you. But then I'm like, wait, I just met you. I'm not going to judge you just based on your energy, how my energy, reacts with yours.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Super interesting.
Yeah, and Bridget, great question. Is a manifestor and manifesting generator the same thing? So, no, they are not the same thing because they are different types, but manifesting generators are generators with this manifestor quality. So, if you are a manifesting generator, this chat might be really helpful in honoring your manifestor energy. What do you think about that, Mistral?
Yeah, I feel like because we are that combined energy type, there is a lot of like times I want to initiate things, or I feel that anger, or I have that sort of impulsive, I think like manifestor quality, I guess. Um, but we have to come back to like our own authority, right? Our own authority and strategy to really make sure that we are in alignment. So I definitely notice those parts of me and embrace them and love them because that's what makes us totally unique, right? As this like multifaceted creative. But I think a true manifester almost has this like at least I notice this in my daughter, just she's very methodical, almost very methodical, needs her alone time. I love watching how she'll just be at the table drawing and kind of almost going inward, but she's also singing or humming at the same time, which I remember reading somewhere about manifestors that this is a way that they need to actually almost like vocalize or harmonize within their energetic field. So that's interesting. And you love that you repel people, Bridget.
Right?
He's my circle type. That's funny. So going back to like repels, I don't feel that as a manifesting generator that I repel
Right.
people. I think I can sometimes
Mhm.
intimidate people because of that energy, but I don't feel that I repel them in that way. But that's my own personal, I think.
Well, and that's why manifesting generators are under generator category, right? Manifesting generators, especially with that defined sacral, true pure manifestors function in a very different way because what makes a manifestor is the throat being connected to a motor center. So you have this motorized throat, you have this consistent, reliable way of expressing yourself, right? Humming constantly. That is a manifestor trait, whether it's a pure manifestor or manifesting generator, to just have that voice or expression. Really, it can be dance, movement, writing, art, any sort of creative expression, any expression really that helps you manifest, right? That's where the name comes, manifester, because you can express your wants, needs, and hone in your energy to bring them in to your reality. And really, that aura, that big repelling aura, is there to protect their energy, that undefined sacral. A lot of manifestors can have a lot of openness. So you need that energy to protect you, right? Bridget said, keeps my circle close knit, keeps everyone tight. Right, because you don't want to just let all these different people in who are going to suck and drain your energy,
Mm.
because manifestors work in these cycles, right? You create, they are here to initiate, to get things started that have never been here before, right? The creator of human design was a manifestor. I'm pretty sure Richard Rudd of Gene Keys is a manifestor, right? They've created these brand new things. So they need to have this cycle of creative output, right? They are creating, they are initiating, they are getting things started. And then they have a period of rest. They can back off. Hopefully, they've handed it over to a generator to keep continuing and developing that. But they are resting. I know a lot of manifestors go in their bed for like a week. I don't hear from them at all. And they're like, sorry, I was in my rest cycle. I'm like, don't be sorry. Congratulations. That was awesome that you honored your energy, that you were in your rest cycle. Like, now you're back. Okay. Yay.
I feel like too the with the rest cycle, a lot of manifestors almost resist that because it's what a lot of people resist. And so, I mean, do you want to give shed any insight into like why a manifestor might rest for like a week versus a day or 3 days? I mean, I'm sure it relates back to the energy cycle of how much output versus input.
Yeah, so part of it is that undefined sacral. They need time to rest, to decompress from that go, go, go energy. With the other motor centers, right? The sacral is a motor center, but manifestors don't have it. It's not that life force energy. They may have the root, the solar plexus, or the heart ego center, those being the other three motor centers. So those don't work in the same way that the sacral works. They more so, it's kind of like spurts of energy, especially if your heart's in it, but like they can burn out too. So it's really like you've used that motor for a whole week. We got to let it rest. Like we got to kind of put it into hibernation to let it cool off, to let it recharge. And then it'll be ready when you're ready to go back and do that again. And to talk about the self not self theme, because that plays into this too, right? The not self theme for manifestors is anger. When they're not honoring their rest cycle, they might get really angry, especially for like an emotional manifestor who's on the low of their
Mm.
wave
Mhm.
during a rest cycle, not honoring it, like, ooh, watch out for them. But when they rest, that's where they find peace. They come back to peace. They almost like initiate their own internal peace with that rest cycle.
Yeah, I noticed that like my daughter gets very stubborn at times in her specific way of doing things. And then when she has had some time to process, like draw, hum, think on her own, how much she just comes back into her normal, very peaceful self. But it's neat to watch her, navigate that, just sort of living in a household that's very open to different energies, but just being a child, right? And just like figuring things out. And so I think as adults, if we can figure this out for ourselves, then we avoid so much pain around that anger and feeling that everything's not working out how we desire it to. And so just understanding those rest cycles and how important they are.
So, manifestor's strategy is to inform, right? That's why when we talk about manifesting, sorry, when we talk about manifesting generators, right? Sometimes you get caught up and get carried away. So, it can be helpful to inform. But
Yes.
pure manifestors, when you are ready to go initiate that new thing, to go create, you need to let people around you know what you're going to do. I always use the saying that sometimes you'll know who a manifestor is if you're like, where is that person? And everyone's like sitting around waiting for this one person. You're waiting for a group thing. You're like, where is so and so? Like, where did they go to? Does anybody know? No, no, no. And then the manifestor walks back in. They're like, oh, hey guys, like so excited, so ready to go. And everybody else is like, real kind of pissed off because they're like, where have you been? You didn't tell anyone. And they were like, oh, I just got this amazing hit. Like, I just had to go do this thing. I had to go initiate this. And everyone's like, Well, why didn't you tell us? So that would be a manifester, right? Developing that anger. Now there's anger around
Hmm.
who's not informing. One manifester friend loves informing little things. That's how she practices her strategy. She's like, okay, I'm going to go to the bathroom now. And people are like, we didn't need to know that. And she's like, I'm just practicing my strategy of informing because it's helpful for her and keeps her in that energy of peace.
Love that. It's, I mean, it's the best way to practice is with all those little pieces. Otherwise, you can't understand it on the bigger scale anyway. So she's smart.
Yeah, right? So the little ways that you can practice your strategy to find peace. And the one thing that I hear from a lot of manifestors is, oh, I avoid anger. Oh, I'm not angry. No, like you really need to embrace your anger. That is your not self theme. It is when you are going to notice things, when you're going to learn, am I checking in with my strategy and authority? How can I find peace here? Because if you are just avoiding anger, which is societal conditioning, you're not going to learn about yourself and what triggers you to be out of alignment, because that's really what that anger is. It's letting you know, hey, ding, 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 something is out of alignment here. Check back in. How can you find peace?
Yeah. And I think this is so important to talk about because people talk about the fact that the human design is our print, right? It's our blueprint to understanding how we show up in life. And if anger is the signature, theme of not self, then you're like, oh, I'm not being myself. Like, what am I doing wrong here? Or what can I fix? Or how can I shift this? Versus not knowing it all, not understanding. Like this is the blueprint. It's so important for us to be able to understand how we can shift and show
Yeah.
up as we're meant to. And so, anyway, that's why we have planning by design, right?
Yes, this is where we help you understand these energy types, understand it in business, understand your marketing, understand your deconditioning of it. Planning by Design is this beautiful community of female business owners that talk about these things.
Yeah, because understanding it is how we get to move forward with speed in life and business and really become magnetic in what we're creating and doing. And that's where we want to be, right? And that sort of feel good energy all the time, knowing that things, whatever is happening for a reason because it is in alignment with how we're designed to be.
Yeah, and to be able to find that signature theme for pure manifestors, to be in that peace all the time, especially in business, and to honor your rest cycles, in addition to other energetic cycles that you have. This is really what we do in our essentially weekly calls every Tuesday, when we all get together to chat about all things energy, goal setting, accountability, um, all the fun stuff.
Yeah, tomorrow's our goal setting. So if you need support goal setting and understanding how to really show up in a way that does feel like aligned and creating the goals around this alignment, tomorrow's our first call. So join us and then we'll hold you accountable for the month.
Right. And we have a really special pop-up guest next week talking about money clearing, right? Getting that energy in alignment, which is super exciting. I am so excited for that next week. But if you're interested in planning by design, let us know. Drop your energy type too. If you know what your energy type is, I would be so surprised if we have any pure manifestors here, as
Yeah.
they're only 8%. I know we have a couple manifesting generators watching. So, if you relate to some of the aspects about manifestors, we'd love to hear it. And yeah, just to sum up, the manifester, like for the pure manifestors, honor your big repelling energy. It is there to protect you. Make sure that you are honoring your initiation cycles. Don't forget to inform, let those who need to know what you're going to do so that you can stay out of anger, but learn from the anger as well to find peace. Yes,
Mhm.
Liz, being a projector, we're going to talk about projectors next week. So be
Next
sure to
week.
tune in this time next Monday
Yay.
as we talk about our wonderful projectors.
Yeah, awesome.
Yay.
We
Anything
love
else?
doing this. So we'll see you next Monday or Tuesday tomorrow if you join Planning by Design. Otherwise, we'll be back again talking about projectors, diving into that energy, helping you stay in alignment and understand how to best serve yourself and humanity.
Absolutely. And if you're interested in planning by design, drop that in the comments